Welcome back, everybody. Today is day 29, and we are so happy to have you on this journey with us. It has been a long one, but a good one.
And we're grateful for you, and we are going to continue sharing what stood out to us in St. Alphonsus' Lenten sermons. It's been really inspiring to read them. I hope that you've been blessed by them.
So I feel that today a little bit of a theme is living with an eternal perspective. And in order to avoid sin, bear always in mind the great thought of eternity, emphatically called by St Augustine, the great thought. Isn't that an interesting way to term that? Like the great thought, to always have eternity in mind. I feel like that would really greatly impact a lot of my decisions if I always thought with eternity in mind.
I think it's such an important meditation for us to do even on a daily basis. Just a quick thought. Am I living for heaven?
Yeah, am I living for heaven? This is what another saint said. Each moment I stand at the gate of eternity. That's another way of saying it.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Who knows whether I am amongst the reprobates or the predestined? When the tree is cut down, where does it fall? It falls on the side to which it inclines. My brothers, to which side do you incline? What life do you lead? Endeavour to incline always towards the south. Preserve yourself in the grace of God. Fly from sin. Thus you will save yourself and be amongst the elect. I love the imagery that St. Alphonsus gives about a tree and which way does it fall. He alludes earlier to when it falls, where it lies, it remains for all eternity. And now he asks the question, which way are we leaning? I had a summer job when I was in university, and I looked for summer jobs that would just make as much money as I could in the shortest period of time so I could pay off my university tuition. And so I had a job as a chainsaw operator for 4 months. And all I did was cut down these trees. And so I got very acquainted with which way trees lean. In fact, you can manipulate the tree. You cut it on one side before you fall it, and you can change its trajectory from there to this way. And oftentimes we needed to do that because we needed the trees to fall in certain directions. And so the great question is, which way are we leaning? Are we leaning towards heaven or are we leaning towards hell? And the way that we can tell, I think, is how we live. Are we leaning? Are we praying? Are we participating in the sacraments? Are we striving to live a virtuous life? Are we living according to our formed conscience? And of course, we're not perfect in all of this. We all struggle. But all we have to do is try our best, and God will do the rest. We don't have to be afraid, but we just have to try. And by trying, we start leaning. And in the direction we lean, we fall. But we should not be afraid. It reminds me of something I read last night, actually. Another book by St. Alphonsus Liguori. Right here, The Glories of Mary. Just love this thing. He shares the story of a sister that belongs to the order of St. Teresa of Avila. And the sister lay dying. In fact, the physician comes and says that she's going to die. And guess how she responds? She says, "How can it happen that you come to me with such good news yet charge me no fee?" She lies dying. She considers this news, her death around the corner, as good news. Here's a great example of one who had no fear. And I think this is where we should be. We should not be afraid of death. Honestly ask, which way do we lean? The direction we lean, we shall fall. And have confident reassurance in God's mercy for us.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have fear of death. Are you ready for another saint story? So Paulinus is the bad guy. He's the one that works for the emperor, and he's friends with Vitalis, who is a Christian. The interesting thing is that Paulinus doesn't know that Vitalis is a Christian. Together they go on a trip, and Vitalis hears that there is a Christian being martyred, and he runs to go and see this physician who is being martyred, and he sees that this physician is wavering in his faith and is almost going to turn and give in to the idol worship. And this is what Vitalis says. "How is this, my friend? Thou hast the crown almost within thy grasp. Having already suffered so much, wilt thou miserably lose it? To avoid these short pains, wilt thou cast thyself into everlasting torments? Thou hast cured the maladies of others. Wilt thou now condemn thyself to eternal death? Enliven thy faith. Have confidence in Jesus Christ. Bravely consummate the sacrifice of thyself. Upon this exhortation, the constancy of the physician revived, and he gave his life for Jesus, upon which Vitalis carried off his body and respectfully interred it. Okay, so the interesting part that happens after this is that Paulinus, the one who is persecuting Christians, realizes that Vitalis is a Christian. And though Paulinus loved his friend Vitalis, you know what he did? He martyred him. Isn't that so sad?
So why does this stand out to you?
I just love the stories of the saints and their martyrdoms. Like that would be so hard, so devastating. Any kind of tragedy is devastating to us, and yet it just seemed like that was a normal part of life for so many of them, or at least it seems like it was like that
In the early church.
Yeah.
What do you think? Have you been reading the stories of the martyrs by St. Alphonsus? Let us know your thoughts. How have you been responding to them? We thank you for all your comments that you do put every day. Some of you are so regular. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. The rosary is going to be right up there. You can pray along with us, and we will see you tomorrow.